They say when you are retired that every day is Saturday, and I love that saying. Well, today is not Saturday, but it is overcast, it is rainy, and guess what? I don't have to get out in it because I don't have to go to work. That means I can sit inside or I can be out here in between rainstorms and enjoy the cooler weather and enjoy my Monday. And I hope that you will join me today. My basil has been thickening up, as you can see. I've been cutting it the way I showed you in one of the last few videos, and it smells so fragrant. I love coming out here every day and just kind of moving the leaves so you can smell how wonderful it smells. My corn stalks are starting to get serious, and I even have a couple of corn that are growing. And then my peppers have really been taking off, and we have some nice large peppers that are starting to grow. I have 8 of them so far on several different plants. So it's really exciting that we're going to have some produce. I like to come out every day and just enjoy my plants, check on them, see how they're doing, and enjoy the flowers that are blooming. I feel like when I was working, I missed so many of these beautiful things. The morning glories only bloom in the morning, and I was off to work missing that. But I can enjoy them every day now. I find so much enjoyment in growing some of my own food and having plants that I can take care of every day. And I hope that you are enjoying your growing season and that it is fruitful. We've had a lot of blue jays in the yard squawking at each other, and it's so nice to listen to the birds sing. It's an absolutely gorgeous day, even with the light rain, where I can have my windows open, and I'm really enjoying the new windows that I got put in a year ago. They were such a great investment, and it's so nice to be able to open them. Some of them were stuck shut or were in really bad condition, and these just open easily, and I can enjoy the fresh air whenever I want to out of all of them. I put a roast in the crock pot this morning with some of my homemade onion soup mix. We have not had a roast in about 4.5 years, and my daughter gave us one for letting her borrow the car one day, so this is going to be a real treat. These are carrot tops, so I'm going to cut some of these off and put them in my roast. Carrot tops are totally edible, and I love playing with some of these different spices and herbs. I also need to mix up some more of my onion soup mix. That is about gone. But when things like this are fresh and edible from the garden, I just love adding them. I just feel, I guess, fancy. It's kind of like you're jazzing up the simple life by adding in some of these little herbs and things that you wouldn't have otherwise, and you certainly wouldn't go to the store to buy a bunch of these extra things. If at least I've never done that. So growing them from my garden, I can just add them and experiment and know that we're getting something special in an ordinary dish. And this is going to be special anyway because we haven't had roast in so long. My privacy fence had a bunch of sections that had fallen apart, and my son came down yesterday and put the fence back together. He said it's not a perfect job, but it looks great to me, considering that I've had big sections that have been missing from the wind blowing and from the boards buckling, and now they're all complete again. These lazy dog days of summer are just the best. I hate to see summer end. It's always my favorite season of the year. I know a lot of people dread it. They hate the hot weather, but I just love summer. It is just my time of year. And the lake is full. We had a little bit of rain, and it just looks beautiful. I always think about what it would be like to own one of these small little houses on the edge of the lake. I bet they enjoy that so much every morning coming out to this view. There's still several people camping at the lake. That's one thing that I'm looking forward to for the state fair, is I will be staying in my RV while I am working there to save myself some distance from driving every day. We've got another storm rolling in. I can hear it rumbling in the background. The air is cool though, so I'll take it. It's kind of nice to have the light breeze today. I wanted to do a video outside today, but I think we will just look out the windows. So living in the country definitely has its perks, as you can see. It's so peaceful, it's so quiet, but we've had a predator lately, and we've been trying to figure out what it is. From all of my research online, I think it's either a coyote, a fox, an owl, or a bobcat, which we have all of those around here. And in southeast Kansas lately, they've had a couple of bears. So bears are even migrating into Kansas. But we woke up this morning to our cat food dish being completely gone. This is the pan that we feed our outdoor cats in. So as you can see, it's not a lightweight pan. It's not even a small pan. It's never left the area before. If it has been drug, it's just been around the corner of the house. But my husband went out this morning and I heard him talking to the outdoor cats and he said, "Where's your bowl? Where's your bowl?" And he was out there for quite a while and he came back in and he said, "Their bowl is completely gone." I said, "Well, did you look around the edge of the house?" He goes, "I did. I walked all the way around the house. There's no bowl." I said, "You're kidding me. What in the heck could have hauled it off more than a few feet?" The other night I got up in the middle of the night and I was in the bathroom, the window was open, and I heard ching, 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 ching. And I thought somebody is in the cat food bowl. And I went and turned on the light. It was about 3:30 in the morning. And there was a little possum out there eating out of the cat food dish. And he ran around the corner. Well, he's not big enough to haul it off more than a few feet, but we do get skunk, we get armadillo, we get raccoons, we get all kinds of things out here. We even have a box turtle that will come and eat cat food in the circle with the cats. So my husband said, "I just went ahead and put it out there on the sidewalk. I'm going to leave for work." I said, "Okay." 5 minutes later, he's back and he said, "You're not going to believe this. I found the cat bowl." I said, "Where was it?" He said it was about 30 feet east of our mailbox. Well, that's on the other side of the road. So that's a good 75 to 100 feet from where we feed the cats. Something large enough to carry off that bowl took it that far. So we definitely have a predator, and we've known for a while that we have a predator because here a couple of months ago, we found a cat that was out by the garage that something had got, and it was not our cat. All of our cats are still here. And the garage isn't more than like 30 feet from the house, 25 feet from the house. And so something had gotten it that close to the garage. Well, then just a couple of weeks ago, we kept having this skunk smell. And we found a skunk that there was only a couple of tufts of hair left. The whole thing was gone. About another 20 feet on the other side of the house. And I'm like, what gets a skunk? Because they smell so terrible. What would even want to get a skunk? Well, when I looked it up, it said owls will do that because they don't have a sense of smell and the skunk doesn't bother them. But it also said coyotes, foxes, and bobcats would do that. Then yesterday, about 10:30 in the morning, my son texts me because he's moved back to this general area, and he said, "A coyote just walked by my house and he's headed your direction." I said, "You're kidding." At 10:30 in the morning, I said, "Did he look sick?" And he said, "No, he was big and he looked fine." And I whistled at him and he took off in the bushes towards another neighbor. So I texted that other neighbor and said, "There was one headed your way. I know you let your dog out to go to the bathroom, but there's a coyote headed your way. My son just saw it." And he said, "Thank you for the heads up." So we know there's a coyote out here walking around close to homes in the daylight, which we had that problem when I was growing up. My dad would have sheep, and we had a problem there for a while that coyotes would get them in the middle of the broad daylight. And we had a big issue, and he had to lock up his sheep in the barn during the daylight because it wasn't even safe for them. So I don't know what we have that has gotten so brave, but we definitely have a situation going on here around our house. So earlier I talked about the dog days of summer. That is an old term from the Farmer's Almanac that covers the time frame from July 3rd to August 11th. It is supposed to describe the most hot, sultry, and sluggish weeks of the summer season. My dad believed in the Farmer's Almanac 100%. He used it to know when to plant, and it is something that I still follow today to decide when to plant also. But if you haven't heard that term before, that's what that means. And now let's get back and see how our roast is doing. I added some potatoes and carrots, and this turned out absolutely delicious with a couple of tablespoons of beef bouillon. I got that onion soup mix mixed back up, and I'm restocked on that, and I will link that video at the end. So I hope you've enjoyed this video and a little look into my daily summer life here in Kansas, and I hope you'll join me for another video.